would you say to anyone who's frightened about the state of the world? Should we start with Kakashan?
Sure. I'd say, fear arises from ignorance. The fear of the unknown causes the greatest, anxiety in that sense. Having worked at the grassroots level for 14 years now amongst the world's most vulnerable communities, I can state with the utmost confidence that every child, whether they're in a Syrian refugee camp or in a public school in Manhattan, has the innate potential to become a change maker. And that catalyst allows a child to flourish and blossom is, at the end of the day, education. And I've really made it my life's mission to ensure that this powerful tool of transformation is accessible to all. And challenges are always going to be there. And personally, from cyberbullying to anonymous hate mails, to stalking, to death threats, threats of physical abuse, I've really encountered them all. And it's terribly daunting, especially for, as a 7-year-old starting out in the field. But then I was fortunate to have a support system in my parents who gave me the confidence to really look these bullies in the eye, to come out into the open, to speak about what I'd gone through and ensure that, just every single person knows that it is possible to overcome these challenges. And when you're doing good work, there are always going to be naysayers. So it's really up to us to see whether we let our fear of these horrible things going on all around the world, of the horrible people, let that kind of overshadow the passion for our work. And I think it's really important that we stick with that empathy and passion and just go with it, no matter how daunting it might seem. And along the way, you will find like-minded, passionate people who will be able to support you along the way.
Thank you so much, sir. Let's move on to Vihan and Nav, please.
We would say, very simply, take the plunge. Because it is only after you step into the waters that you realize that, there is so much there. So, obviously it is a frightening problem. There are different problems within it. There are, different challenges within it. But at the same time, there's so many different opportunities. There's so many different ways to connect. There's so many different ways that you can grow as a human being. So, yeah, definitely. The simple message would be take the plunge. Just do it at the end of the day. There's nothing else you could say.
Thank you. And finally, Brad.
My answer has two parts, really. So answering to what would you say to anyone who is frightened about the state of the world. So I think on a macro sense, a broader sense, being able to change the world or being part of change has never been more accessible than it is today. Again, even though there's a lot more work to do to reach people, to give them the tools to change their communities, being an entrepreneur and being an innovator and a pioneer is more accessible than it's ever been. So it's reflecting on what the other panelists that have said so eloquently: take the plunge, just do it, start somewhere, start small and then grow. And I think, and that's exactly what I did. I don't know what it was that made me think that I could run a charity, create an app. I've never done any of these things in my life before, but I felt empowered by other stories to do it, to just start, because I'd experienced the problem that I was trying to solve. On a micro level, if you're frightened at the state of the world because you're fortunate to live in a country that gives you internet access to social media, and you're able to use social media tools, we all know the role that algorithms play in our experience on social media. And I know a lot of people that have found themselves in an echo chamber of negativity, seeing negative stories, sad stories. And I think one small action that you could take today, if you have access to social media, is searching for more positive stories, following accounts that have more positive news. I follow several, and they always cheer me up and make me feel more hopeful. So there's the macro, get involved, it's accessible, it's there for you. And then there's also the micro of use social media to try and find more positive stories. Don't let it show you constant negativity.
Thank you, Brad. And on that topic, let's move on to by giving the viewing and listening audience some ideas about how and where they can take action. So maybe you'd like to continue and plug some organisations that you recommend and signpost people. Brad?
Well, the two that I've mentioned really that spring to mind because they're international. I work with a lot of national organisations here in the UK, but the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, absolutely incredible. Not only do they give young people confidence and encouragement, but they also are funders, which as entrepreneurs, I'm sure we all know here that is essential when creating something. You don't just give someone encouragement and support, you need to give them money. I don't want that to sound crass, but it's true. So the Queen's Commonwealth Trust and also the Diana Award. They recognise contributions from young people all over the world who are changing their communities and doing it with kindness, kind of embodying the vision and the mantra of the late Princess Diana, that young people have the power to change the world. These communities are filled with young people that are doing just that, and I get inspired by them every day. So there's two that spring to mind.
Thank you, Brad. And I'll repeat the question again because I flunked it the first time. For anyone confused about where best to direct their time and energy, in your view, panellists, which are the key organisations that people can get on board with to effect the greatest change? Kakashan, would you like to carry on there?
Sure. Join Green Hope Foundation. I can vouch for the ground level work that we do every single day. Work, as I mentioned, going on as I speak, just to bring about that positive change every single day. And, my honest advice to anyone would be to follow your own path of action. Lots of people do things for media attention, or they have contacts and use that phrase, I have contacts. But no, it's important that you start with yourself, see what you're most passionate about, and just define your own path of success. And the joy that you get helping people and planet is 1,000 times the happiness you might get just seeing your face in the media. And it's really not about how much money you have or how connected you are to people. It's just your empathetic outlook, your honest hard work, and your willingness to bring about change. And you'll see that with our work at Green Hope Foundation, doing that honest work. So yeah, you can join us, but be ready to work very, very hard.
Thank you, Kakashan. And finally, on to Vihan and Nav, please.
We definitely say follow One Step Greener. We have posts every alternate day, essentially on the smallest thing you can do to create change, right? Whether it is segregating your waste, whether it is composting, any small thing that we find that really can change perspectives and create good behaviors, we post it and we share it, and it's definitely very easy to do. Obviously you can also volunteer, intern, and 100 different things with us. So definitely just check out our website, onestepgreener.org. But simultaneously, I would say look for young people, of course, other than us as well, who are really doing great work, who are doing inspiring work. And I know for a fact, like for example, in India, we have a news organization called Better India, which just shows inspiring stories. So there are so many different organizations like that. And if you do follow them, it'll just make your day a brighter day, and then, you find hope to do whatever you want to do.
Thank you all there. That brings us to the end of the panel discussion on activism. We hope you found some inspiration and information about how to unleash your own inner activist. Thank you all so much for our panellists, Vihan and Nav Argawal, Brad Gudger and Kakashan Basu for being with us today. Thank you all very, very much for sparing your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.